Peace and blessings, family. First of all, I want to say thank you for a huge 2021. It was probably the greatest year for our program that we've had since our inception in 2019. And during this whole year, well, 2021, I mean, so many people reached out to us from all across the country, from across the globe, after finding out about our program via various different media outlets, Roland Martin, Fox News, CNN, Kelly Clarkson's show, etc. So we've hit the ground running. Right now, we've officially become a nonprofit. Our school, since we've been trying to open our school has become a nonprofit. We filed for nonprofit status back in March of 2021, and we didn't receive our letter of determination for tax exempt status up until October. So obviously, in October, we started our bank account for the Extra Boys program, the Extra Boys Preparatory School. So the Extra Boys remains an LLC, and we have our school that is now the nonprofit, which people can donate to, and all their donations are tax exempt. Also, we're sending letters for these things. Right here, I have our full account statement since we've opened back in October. So every quarter, I'll be doing one of these videos, letting people know, and also showing our bank statements, and these files will be online in a link in the description of this video for you to be able to see and look through for yourself. Also, the deeds to our land, the deeds to our resource centers, and the deed to our building, our school building that we just purchased. So right now I'm going to go through our account statement just for our nonprofit. At the moment, well, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through that last. Right now, I want to talk about what happened in 2021. While we were raising money on GoFundMe, because obviously we were not a nonprofit at the time. We were raising money under our LLC. So we raised, when I stopped the campaign, we raised about $148,000 on our GoFundMe account. We had that GoFundMe account for maybe over a year and a half, almost, because we were trying to get another building and it didn't work out. Then we tried to buy the Isabella School, and that didn't work out. So restarted back in 2021. In March, I purchased 40 acres of land on the south side of Albany, Georgia for $100,000 cash. $100,000 of that money we raised on GoFundMe, we bought our school's land. There we'll be able to teach the boys how to grow their own food. They'll be camping, etc. Also, I'll also attach in the description a part of our application that we've done with the U.S. Department of Energy for them to bring a greenhouse project to the city of Albany for us to be able to feed that south side of town. Back when we submitted that application, there was no grocery store on that side of town, and obviously we want to be able to feed people better food here in the city of Albany. The city of Albany has an extremely high hypertension rate. Blood pressure rates are extremely high here. So I just wanted to make sure that we're feeding people good food, pesticide free, free from all chemicals, etc., to be able to feed to that more impoverished community. So we bought that land, and I'll attach the deed also in the description in that link. We bought the land, and then fast forward to June. After we weren't able to buy the Isabella School, we purchased our resource center, which I'm in now. It's comprised of 3 buildings, and we purchased them with $70,000 of that money. So obviously, we spent more than we actually raised in our GoFundMe account because from my money, my personal funds, to my manager, to my grandmother, to my mom, people who I could call and ask to help us, get these buildings, we were able to do it. During that time, I was spending a lot of my personal money. I spent $5,000 on inspections for the Isabella School at the time of my own personal money. So a lot of things that has happened for our organization we spent personally. Back when we began our summer camp, back in June, we had to spend $33,000 at the hotel. We were boarding the boys at the hotel, and that was an expense that we did not know we had to make originally because the boys were supposed to be boarded at the Isabella School at the time, but that deal didn't go through, so we had to do what we had, and we had to go get a hotel. So we spent $33,000 at the hotel because we had 10 double bed rooms at the Fairfield here in Albany, Georgia. So we did that during the summertime. We spent $33,000 there. I didn't calculate directly how much we spent on food for the boys, but imagine feeding 36 children every day for 2 months. It added up at least on a minimum about $15,000. Not to mention all the field trips. We also bought a school bus. We spent, I think, about $6,000 or $7,000 on that school bus to be able to transport our children. Also, during those field trips, we had to fill the bus up, obviously, with diesel fuel. So that was pretty expensive. But this is just to show how much people have helped us that during this time, we were trying to run this organization, with no tax exempt status, and trying to make things happen. So people who were donating knew, they weren't getting any tax exempt. So for me, my heart is overwhelmed with so many people donating, just for us to be able to take care of these boys. And our accounts went into negative during the summertime because of us having to spend so much money at the hotel. Then us having to leave the hotel and transfer to my grandmother's house. My grandmother has a nice sized house, so me and the boys literally stayed at my grandmother's house. I had to go buy like 40 air mattresses for everybody to stay on. Some of them slept on the floor or whatever. But I went and bought like 40 air mattresses for the boys, and we all slept on the floor at my grandmother's house during the summer. In that time, we're teaching them how to work on cars, and people coming to teach them how to do workshops, welding, etc. And also, even before summer camp, I was actually boarding a lot of these children at my home, my personal home. I started boarding I started with 6 children, then I did another set of 6 from August to December of 2020. And that was during the pandemic because parents were still working and those children needed somewhere to do work and be monitored. So I actually housed them at my house. They came to live with me. Obviously I don't mind, taking kids in to come stay with me, and 36 of them was pretty tough, but people helped us out. We know during that time, it was a little tough. A lot of them, they messed up grandma's house, etc., but it was okay. We worked through that whole summer. It was tough, but that was one of the best memories I've ever had in my life. With those boys during the summertime. And thankfully, the path forward during the summertime, in June, they were doing the annual Juneteenth Awards, and they donated $25,000 to our program at the time. So that got our accounts out of the negative. I was able to pay my administrator, etc. I was able to pay my best friend who has a transport company. He came and drove the bus for us. He transported the boys back and forth to different places for us. So I was able to pay him for doing that. I donated to him actually because he took no pay during the whole summer. So I donated $5,000 to him and his organization for my personal funds for everything he did for us during the summer. I donated $5,000 to my grandmother because obviously she did that for free and her light bill skyrocketed. They tore up a lot of furniture, flooring, etc. But you having 36 boys in the house, you kind of come to expect that. So that summertime, again, was one of the greatest times of my life. Also, with me traveling across the country, giving and donating so many brand new tools to children. I don't even remember how many workshops that we did going across the country. We've been to LA twice. We've been to the Bronx, New York, Brooklyn, New York. We've been to Baltimore, etc. And all these places, these people did not pay us to come to. I went there on my own dime, and I bought these brand new tools for these children to be able to start their own automotive repair services. We went there. I taught them how to work on these cars, and they were able to make money just based off of everything that I taught them. And I donated them brand new tools, and they were not cheap tools. I don't believe in buying cheap tools because I hate working with cheap tools. So I went and bought them nice jack stands, all the stuff they needed to be able to change brakes and change oil around their communities. So I don't even know how many workshops we did there, but the flights, all of it, was it was overwhelming, but it was okay. So that's kind of a recap of what happened in 2021. I know I'm missing a few things. Also, we did our community breakfast project after the summertime, so we were feeding our community on Saturdays here at the Resource Center. And Dunbar's Barbecue and Soul Food, we would pay them to cook the breakfast for us, and we would feed this community here for free. And then also, after we were finished with our community breakfast project, once it went on pause, I donated $5,000 to Dunbar's Barbecue and Soul Food out of my personal funds, just because that's a staple in our community, and I know that how it is to need help. So I donated $5,000 there. I donated $5,000 also from my personal account to Feeding the Valley. Feeding the Valley is a nonprofit organization here in the city of Albany who help feed a lot of people that are hungry. So I didn't have any canned goods to give at their canned food drive. So I definitely made sure I donated there. And I'm so thankful for all the people who just donated to me personally. So many people sent personal donations to me just because of seeing the work that I'm doing and me having children and my own home, etc. Many people just sent through donations, gave calls and everything, and was saying, King, we want you to have this for you personally, because of the work you're doing, and you got to take care of yourself. So I'm so grateful for all those people. But the only way you keep receiving is if you keep on giving. That's what I was taught in church growing up. They always said you can't beat God giving. So I always keep giving, and that's how we keep receiving. We also donated $1,000 to Mikasa, a Mexican restaurant, from my personal account, because they helped feed my boys during the summertime, and it was a great experience with them, and they helped us out so much. So now here we are going to go through our account statement. We bank with SunTrust, and we are under the Ex-Boys Preparatory School, doing business as the Life Preparatory School for boys. So I'm going to go through our account from beginning to end, because we just opened our account in October. So every donation that somebody's made to the Ex-Boys Preparatory School has been tax exempt. They receive letters for it. We are a registered charity, so people donate through Fidelity Charitable, and many different other charity websites that people are able to donate through. So right now I'm going to go through our account statement for the Ex-Boys Preparatory School, just to go through each of these with you. And like I said, if you want to follow along with this document, it'll be in the link in the description. It'll be in that folder for you to be able to look at our account statement if need be. So I opened our account with depositing $26,000 into the account, $26,200. That was to begin. Also, back in November, once we became a nonprofit, I did an actual fundraiser on Twitter. We raised $50,000, and here you will be able to see all that money go directly into this account. So this is the statement for October. On October 21st, I deposited $1,200, and I also deposited $25,000. So altogether on that day, it was $26,200 that I deposited into that account. November's bank statement, I deposited $550 in checks to begin with. Then I deposited $25,000, $25,173.79. That came from that $50,000 that we raised on GoFundMe, and to pair that, not GoFundMe, but Go Get Funding. Then to pair that, we added $24,826.21. When we were raising money on Go Get Funding, it raised on two sites. It raised on PayPal, and it raised in the actual Go Get Funding account. So I was able to add both of those, which adds up to $50,000 that we raised on Go Get Funding. We raised $24,225 in checks that I deposited. And also on November 23rd, we raised $7,550 in checks that I deposited. So at that time, November 23rd is when we actually closed on our school building here in Albany, 714 West Broad Avenue. I had to withdraw a cashier check of $48,373.87. So that was the money that I took out then. So at that time, we had $60,000 left in our account. Going to December, I deposited, our beginning balance in December was $60,151.13. During that time, I deposited $35,510, and I withdrew $15,008. So those withdrawals, one of them comes from a correction that the bank had to do, because they originally deposited somebody's check as $5,000, but it was actually $500. So they corrected it here and removed $4,500. And for me to do an over-the-counter withdrawal, it cost me $8. So $10,000 of that we spent on our advertising and our commercial video that will actually be coming out on tomorrow. So we did that, and also for many of our different advertisings that we'll be doing throughout the year. So we went ahead and paid Open Season Media Productions to take care of that for us. And I did a $500 ATM cash withdrawal on December the 24th. That was the day I was giving out Christmas gifts, and I was going to gift that. I gifted that to a family while we were giving out gifts for Christmas. So our ending balance for December was $80,653.13. Going to this month, we only deposited $17,170. Our beginning balance was $80,653.13. We withdrew $3,729.71 altogether. I deposited $15,500 via checks, and I deposited $1,670 more via checks. So the over-the-counter withdrawal was $3,644. That was our mortgage, our first mortgage payment. Our mortgage is $3,644. And also I spent $77 at QuickBooks because they will be doing our payroll. We have not done payroll through our nonprofit yet, so this will be our first time doing payroll to pay our administrator, pay our manager, and pay myself. Because I never received money from the nonprofit. And QuickBooks charged us $21 cents, just to verify that this is the account that we be using. And right now, as of January 10th, our balance is $94,093.42. So that's me going through the full account statement, and this statement will be available for you to look at any time on our link in the description. We have so much. We have so much that we'll be doing this year. We have so much planned. We have the march, the I Am a Man march that we'll be doing on April 30th through May 1st. We have the boys doing January 24th, I believe. Well, excuse me, January 22nd. They'll be doing job fair training. So they'll be doing job skills training. They'll be learning how to, conduct an interview. They'll also be learning how to write a resume, etc. Because many of the kids do not have those skills. And we'll also be donating suits to some of those guys 14 and up who do not have suits to be able to go to an interview. I've seen people come in interviews with jeans on, etc. But some of them just don't have suits or anything. So we're going to donate suits to those children, etc. What else? Like I said, we have so much planned for this year. Right now, we're still working on renovations. We've started on our roof already. You didn't hear me say I took money out of the nonprofit to start on our school's roof. I actually did that from my personal account. Even though I keep getting fussed at, about it, not taking it out of the nonprofit, sometimes this is just something I really want done, and I didn't want to go through the nonprofit. I did it for my personal funds. So right now, we're still working on that. Even for the paint that we just purchased for the building, bought out my personal account just because. So right now, we have just about $100,000 in our account. A lot of that's going to get eaten up with renovations that we're about to start. We already started on our school. So I'll still be doing those video blogs for you guys for our school. Because I want you guys to see what's happening at our school. But like I said, you'll be getting these videos quarterly, kind of letting you know what's happened in the last few months, what's going on, and what's happening next. So I appreciate you guys, and this is just my quarterly review. Peace.